So let me tell you about some things that are going to be true no matter what trip you're going on. First of all, getting around. We have 8-passenger SUVs, Tahoes and Suburbans. So this picture is actually a little bit old, and that's not what our vehicles are going to be looking like for this summer. But we do still have the same trailers. That's going to be your trailer. And as you can see, we kind of load all the equipment in the trailer. So please, pack light. In terms of sleeping on Quest, there's a couple different ways you might be sleeping on your Quest. Typically, if you're on a California trip, does it rain in the summer? Doesn't rain in the summer, right? So we get the wonderful experience of sleeping right under the stars with nothing over our heads. And that is really my favorite way to camp out. If you're going on Pacific Northwest, you can expect some rain and also potentially bugs now and then. So we take tents. And for the tents, there's boy tents and girl tents, and girls don't go in boy tents and boys don't go in girl tents. If we're sleeping like this on a big tarp, we actually all sleep on the tarp next to each other, including the staff. Staff is right there. Sometimes if it's going to rain, like in the top left picture, we can set up a hanging tarp over our sleeping tarp, okay, to protect us from the rain, which is very unnerving. Okay, here's just a couple pictures of the kind of different group experiences you might have on the trip to bring the group together. And as you can see, it might be physical, like let's build something funny with our bodies. It might be a blind trust walk, but it's always going to be fun and taking you a little bit outside your comfort zones. The food on Quest is really up to the Questers. So you are going to be involved in picking the menus. You're going to be involved in shopping for the groceries. You're going to be involved in cooking the food. For some of you, that might be like, yes, I love to cook. I can't wait to show my skills. And for some of you, I know when I was 12 or 13, I had never boiled water. I had never made an egg. So if that's you, I can relate. Don't worry, our leaders will help you. They'll teach you. They'll be right there with you to support you. But we're definitely going to get your help and get you involved in making delicious meals on your trip. Typically, we'll be eating dinner at like a picnic table like this at our campsite. And there's all different kinds of things you can make. So we usually have like a meat option on the days that we go grocery shopping, because we have coolers with ice, but we wouldn't necessarily have meat, 2 days after we go grocery shopping, 3 days after, because we don't have a fridge in the trailer. We just have a cooler. So there's a lot of vegetarian meals. If you're a vegetarian, you can definitely expect there will always be a vegetarian option for you. And that's true no matter what your food restrictions might be. If you have a nut allergy, a fish allergy, if you are gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, wheat, dairy free, we'll find food for you. We'll work it out with you. We always have food for everybody and good healthy snacks on Quest. So here's just a couple other examples of kids cooking. This is a challah made in a Dutch oven for Friday night on the backpacking trip, which is pretty special. Top left, we got some pancakes. We got some pasta and sauce, and you can see the teens really helping to cook along with their leaders. Okay, backpacking. So this is on Northwest Canada, I believe, but the backpacking is just so beautiful. And if you've never gone backpacking before, here's what I can tell you. Don't worry. Our leaders are trained to help people who have never gone backpacking before have a safe and positive first experience backpacking. And if you're going on Quest and you've done a lot of backpacking, either as a camper at Tawonga, as a Quester at Tawonga, or with your family, that's great. You'll have a lot to offer your group. But you can expect to carry a pretty big pack. You can expect to hike somewhere between 3 and 5 miles a day. And what we'll try to do is pick a hike that's going to be appropriate to the ability of the group. So if we have a bunch of people who, are really nervous or don't feel like they're the most fit or the most strong, we're going to pick an easier backpacking trip for you. And if we have a group of teens who feels really like we are just so hardcore, we want a really challenging hike, we'll try to give you a more challenging hike. So we don't pre-pick the backpacking trips. What we do is we have options. And on the first day when we do the day hike, we kind of assess the group. What's going to be the best backpacking trip for this group based on, after meeting the kids and seeing how they do on a day of hiking. So this is walking on a big ancient tree in the redwood forest of Olympic National Park. This is Yosemite, where Sierra Slam will be going backpacking. And one of the nice things about backpacking trips is that there's hiking, but there's also chill time. And so you might have a rest day where you're not covering a lot of mileage or covering any mileage. You can just hang out and camp, you can swim, you can make lanyards, you can read. So there's still time to relax and enjoy nature. And we also offer some really great nature programming on our backpacking trip. There's also going to be day trips throughout the quest. Here's some kids sliding down the snow on one of their day trips. Here's another day trip to the coast, the beautiful view of the sea. Here's Crater Lake, which is a day trip as well. So now this is another picture I just want to point out. We don't have 15-passenger vans anymore. We now have 8-passenger SUVs. But you can see the whole group helping to load the trailer. And that's the kind of teamwork that we're going to be seeing throughout the trip and that we're really going to be counting on all of you questers for. Here is a quester sweeping out the trailer and helping out. Okay, so every trip is going to be working with some professional outfitters for activities like whitewater rafting, sea kayaking, rock climbing, and surfing. And the professional outfitters that we use, typically we've been using for many, many years, and we know that they are really experts at teaching young people these outdoor skills, and that they have a great safety record, that they're really professional and really fun and great with kids. Typically this is a really fun part of the trip, is learning and getting a taste for all these new different outdoor adventure activities that you might have never done before your trip. There's also always time on quest for thrill time and chill time, and just making sure kids have a chance to recharge. It's summertime. Let's relax and enjoy our trip as well. So I want to talk a little bit about Judaism on quest. Camp Tawonga is not affiliated with any one movement within Judaism. We're not part of the Reform or the Conservative or the Renewal movement. What we are is we are open to everybody. And at Camp Tawonga and on quest, there are people from a very broad spectrum of affiliation with Judaism and their Jewish identity. So we have campers and staff who aren't Jewish at all. We have campers and staff who are Jewish, but maybe the only Jewish thing they do is come to a Camp Tawonga program. And we have campers and staff who are really into being Jewish. They might go to Jewish day school. They might belong to the JCC. They might have a bar bat mitzvah, go to Israel, speak Hebrew. They might be Israeli. So we have really a very broad spectrum. And what we try to do is we try to create an environment where everybody feels welcome, everybody feels included, and everybody feels invited to participate and to try something a little bit new. So we like to offer Judaism kind of like a buffet. And we hope everybody will take something, try something new, see how it feels. And all the activities that we do in terms of Shabbat and Havdalah, it's not going to be like you sit there and you're just reading a prayer and it's like, okay, it's totally different than that. For Shabbat, our leaders might say the theme for tonight's Shabbat, or for tomorrow's Shabbat, because they'd be planning it in advance, is going to be oneness. And so let's break into groups of 2 and 3, and let's each group think about what you want to do to represent this theme of oneness. You could say a prayer, but you could sing a song, you could lead a guided meditation, you could do a skit, and we really let the kids create their own Shabbat program. And it's really very special and spiritual and wonderful. So we're going to be surrounded by nature on our trips, and we hope it'll really help you open your senses to see and smell and taste and hear and just really experience the incredible beauty of our natural world. And through that, we really hope to inspire young people to want to protect the earth and to come home feeling inspired to be environmental stewards, feeling inspired to be conservationists. Maybe you'll pick up your recycling efforts or find some other way to bring home this incredible awe that you will develop for the natural world on your quest experience.